Hello and welcome to the Flex podcast, otherwise known as my little ramble of the day. So it's very hot and sweaty and there's a fly in my office, so if I aggressively swear, it's not you. It's that the fly who's getting right on my bosoms. Today we're talking about like being healthy, making healthy choices, all that kind of stuff, and how, to be honest, a lot of people think it has to be like this massive, big health kick that we must get done. And don't get me wrong, sometimes that does happen. Like sometimes you can get real shook up from the doctor, or you are going to suddenly train for a marathon. There's something that really suddenly comes upon you to motivate you to do it. And that can be a really great thing to do. And you may well have that bit where you're like, no, it's happening right now. I'm going all in. This is going to happen. And that's fantastic if that happens for you. But for a lot of people who don't have like that super big kind of one-off motivator that makes everything magical come together all at once, it can feel like a bit all or nothing. And I do see this a lot with people. They're like, oh, well, I missed my class, I missed my workout, or I didn't eat very well, so I've screwed it, so I may as well not bother now till Monday. Or, you know, I'm going to carry on doing my workouts, but I'm not going to think about what I'm eating until Monday. Whatever it is, it's like this kind of putting off thing. And I get it, because it almost feels like it's this huge, overwhelming effort that means we can't do anything fun or enjoy anything that we like, because we must be healthy. And so it has to start on a Monday, or it has to be perfect all the way through. And I think that's like a really big key thing to understand, is that for a lot of us who maybe, I'm just calling myself healthy here, but so for a lot of us who people might consider to be healthy or fit or whatever, there's kind of this assumption that we're doing this 100% perfect diet or this 100% perfect workout regime. But the truth is, most of us are sticking to kind of like a 70-30 rule. And that's something I definitely do. So I train pretty well. Like I'm on a lot of lower body rehab at the moment because I've got tendonitis in my knees. But I train pretty well. I work pretty hard. I tick all the boxes on my training. That generally isn't an issue for me, because obviously a lot of my week is spent in the gym. And to be quite honest, I've been doing it, I don't know, nearly 20 years. So, I mean, the routine is there, right? It doesn't feel like an effort anymore. Definitely did at the beginning, but it doesn't now. So workout-wise, like it happens pretty much, I'd say like easily 90% of the time. But in terms of nutrition, obviously that is something that I have to make a little bit more effort with, because I'm not like a fantastic cook or anything like that. But two, because you're having to do that like for every single time that you choose to eat, right? It's something that you're kind of looking at. So I generally do follow this like 70-30 rule. So for me, I eat really well, I reckon, Monday to Friday, and maybe chill out a bit Friday night. And then over the weekend, I chill out a bit, or a lot. But when I'm eating food that I'm eating on my own or in my normal routine, like breakfast on a Saturday when it's normally just me, or maybe my lunch, like when I finish work at lunchtime, they're all normal like weekday meals for me. Like, because I'm eating on my own, it's not like a social activity or like a Saturday night vibe or anything. So I keep them the same, but I definitely chill out. Like if I'm going out and I want a burger, I'll have a burger. If I'm cooking for my boyfriend and we want a burger, I'll have a burger. Like stuff that probably does come in and obviously pushes your energy intake up and maybe has slightly less in terms of like the way of vegetables, or slightly higher than my body might need in fat or whatever. I don't think about it. I just eat what I think sounds nice. Because when I'm doing something social or having brunch with my friends or whatever, I have no intention of thinking about like the caloric value of what I'm eating and if I've ticked all the boxes for my fibre intake in that meal. I'm not worrying about it, because the rest of the week, you know, most of the time, like I'm not saying I'm perfect at all, but most of the time it's fine. So that 70-30 rule, or like guidance, not a rule, can really help people to kind of get their head around it. Because for the most part, if you work Monday to Friday, at least your first 2 meals of the day, like your breakfast and your lunch, any snacks you're having in that day, you're at work. Like, it doesn't really matter, right? And probably not unless you've got like a really sociable job or whatever. You're probably not going out for lunch 5 days a week, or probably eating at your desk, like whatever you've bought or something from the sandwich van. It's not a social extravaganza, is it? It's not an occasion where you feel like you're missing out because you didn't eat something great off the menu. So I think weekdays for most people tend to be like a really easy place to start. And for most people, that, like, getting on with stuff, full steam ahead, everything perfect, like I talked about before, for most people that's not sustainable. For some people it is, because like they have this massive thing they want to do and then all of a sudden it's changed and it's done and it's brilliant. But for a lot of people, there tends to be a lot of fluctuation in whether what they're eating, what they're working out, what they're doing. So if you can, instead of thinking about this, I have to start Monday, it's got to be the first of the month and I have to do it perfectly for 4 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever. And then ultimately that being too tricky because you want to have a life and go out with your friends. I think one of the best things to do is to kind of think of it in like, what easy things that are sustainable for me in my life can I change right now? And most people, whilst it can be overwhelming to think about the whole thing, most of you do know what you need to do, right? We need to eat fibre. We need to eat fruit and veg. People who don't eat enough protein need to probably increase it a bit, especially if you're exercising. You need to lift weights a couple of times a week and you need to do cardio 2 to 3 times. That's like, the sort of basics of what we want to get done. We want to drink water, stay hydrated, and we want to get sleep. And we want to try not to be stressed all the time. These are things that we want to do. We want to move. We need to get our steps in every day. Our body doesn't like being still all the time. Let's tick those boxes. Now, if that sounds to you like such a huge, huge task to get done, the first thing we do is to make these really small, tiny little changes that are really easy. So, for example, if currently you drink 2 litres of Diet Coke per day and no water, easy, quick fix, drink 1 litre of Diet Coke and 1 litre of water. And then try to build on that and build on that. So then the Diet Coke is like a 1-can wonder a day, like a 1 treat thing. If you live on your own and you're doing that whole, but it's so hard to be bothered to cook for myself when it's just me, then 1, I'll give you a little slap, kind one, but still a little slap, because it is always worth looking after yourself. The existence of other people is irrelevant because you are wonderful and your body deserves to be looked after. So surviving on dry toast, as easy as it may be, is not in the long run going to be sustainable for your body, and it's going to make you feel any more energetic or any better at like doing the things that you want to do. So maybe if you're kind of in that headspace at the moment, it's like, right, currently living on toast and Marmite, what can I do to this toast to make it slightly better? Well, you could put eggs and mushrooms on it. At least that's a portion of vegetable and at least that's some protein and some healthy fats. We want to think about different ways that we can make tiny little changes in our day, and they don't have to suddenly become all these great ticks in the boxes for everything. But ultimately that's the goal, right? Ultimately we have this goal where we have this nice, relatively healthy lifestyle. We're moving more, we're lifting some weights, we're eating pretty well. But in the meantime, we might have to do smaller changes in order to get there and in order to make it feel sustainable. I think if you're my age, you still remember, I'm 44, so you still remember all those ridiculous diets that my mum definitely got kind of forced into doing, and I definitely started when I was a teenager. Those ridiculous 90s diets where you were like, cabbage soup or whatever, or celery only. I love celery, to be fair. I think it's great, but it's not really the most filling of snacks, is it? Or, I don't want to hate on celery, there's nothing wrong with it, but, it's not going to probably set your soul on fire. So a lot of us still have like that kind of hangover of what diets should be like. And you still get bombarded with stuff on social media about people who do fitness for a full-time job and are surviving on things that look like acai bowls or, these kind of sensational looking homemade pancakes covered in stuff that they have whipped up from some buckwheat. You know what I mean? You see all these incredible foods. And look, if you are a chef, get chefing. But for your average person who hasn't got tons of time, maybe has to make sure that other people are eating as well, perhaps that's not something that is like doable every single day. And it probably isn't doable for the people that are posting it either. They had to create content. They allocated a day to film it and make it all. It's their job. So they're obviously going to do a really good job at it and share some really great inspirational food. And that's what it's for. But it's kind of like looking at like someone cook in a Michelin star restaurant, seeing all the food they make in a day and assuming that they go home and cook that for themselves. They probably don't, let's be honest. So let's just remember that people on social media are probably doing it for a job. So they are obviously going to make these sensational things to show you. So if you can make them, bloody fantastic. But for normal people, you can still tick all the boxes and manage to get that done. Like if you're thinking, oh yeah, I've got that bit of salmon left over, throw 2 to 3 portions of vegetables on there and rice, potatoes, whatever it is, the carbohydrate that you wanted. That's a really balanced meal. You might need to add a bit of flavour to it, obviously. But that is a really balanced meal. Same as having, chicken, pasta with pick some vegetables, peppers, mushrooms, courgette. That is a balanced meal. So we can make really normal meals and still tick the boxes. This is the thing. It doesn't have to suddenly be like incredible chef level cooking and blah, blah, blah. Normal folk like me who aren't going to win any prizes for their food can still get their fibre in, get their protein in, eat their fruit and veg. Try not to eat food that's full of MSG. Try not to eat things that are processed from the supermarket and I don't mean ever, but I mean on a daily basis, probably having a cake every day, a processed cake every day. Probably, I mean, if it's the best thing you've ever tasted and you really want it, then great. But, there are probably other things that you could switch in a few times a week that would have more nutritional value. But on the flip side of that is part of it, in that a lot of people, some people do just need to cut food out for a bit, especially if they're kind of not addicted, but kind of finding it really hard to think about anything else apart from that particular food and getting it in that day. Sometimes can be really helpful just to have a bit of a break from it and then slowly get back to it. But for other people, let's take my cake example. So I'm going to just take back what I said. But let's say that having that slice of angel cake or whatever, I don't know let's pick a cake that you love in the middle of the afternoon is something you look forward to, and then it means the rest of your day you eat like some kind of sexy nutritional legend. Then we have to weigh up, how bad is that cake for you? Probably not that bad, because the rest of your diet is so good. And if that helps keep you doing the things, eating the vegetables and eating the fibre and all that kind of stuff, then that's great, right? And like with the Diet Coke example earlier, is water better for you than Diet Coke? Yes. But if having a can of Diet Coke in the afternoon is the one thing that keeps you happy and keeps you moving forward with your nutrition and taking this time and this energy and this effort to make all your food, if that's this one thing that you find really exciting that you have in the middle of your afternoon, then what's better? Getting rid of it and you being miserable and then probably falling off, everything healthy completely, or keeping something in there that you find a bit fun. Everyone's different. So part of this is kind of getting to know the way that you want to manage your nutrition and what works for you. So some people are like, I can't have any of that in the house, otherwise I'll just eat it. And some people are like, that's cool because I can just have a bit of that and that's going to keep me going that week. Like I have one of my friends loves Jaffa cakes. So in the morning, his favourite thing is to have a cup of tea and Jaffa cakes. Now, he eats really well the rest of the time, but in the morning, he has 3 Jaffa cakes and a cup of tea. And that is the thing that makes him feel giddy about the start of his day. And then later on, mid-morning, he'll like have this kind of healthy, awesome breakfast that he's got. And then he'll have like, you know, something else in the middle of the afternoon. Then he'll have his dinner later at night. So, and that is what makes him feel excited about his day and that he can stay on track. And there is nothing wrong with that, right? Because that literally, those 3 or 4 Jaffa cakes or whatever it is that he's planned into his food, they give him life for the whole day because he knows that he's got them. And when he goes to bed, he's like, I've got Jaffa cakes in the morning. He's excited about it. Now, we can talk about all day long about how much of things that we should eat or not eat. But the fact is, for a lot of people, they taste good. And some of these foods, they're not bad on their own. They're processed food and that kind of stuff. It gets people talk about it because there can be some people that completely rely on it and they eat it as this like main diet thing. Like, you know how now not ever really, we're not supposed to eat tons of processed meat like sausages and bacon and stuff like that, stuff with nitrates in, you know, that kind of thing. Now, if you had sausages, a couple of sausages once a week, how much difference to you is that going to make compared to if you'd had them every single day, twice a day? I'm going to say the difference would be a lot lower having one portion once a week compared to someone who's having kind of 21 portions a week, right? And it's a bit like that with processed food as well, because there's a lot in the media about it at the moment. But there are quite a few people who rely on it almost exclusively for food because processed food can be a lot cheaper. So when you're relying on something exclusively or almost exclusively for your nutrition, that can increase some of the health risks that come from it because obviously there's so many doses of that food in that week. But the reality of it is, if you're only having 1 or 2 doses, is it that bad for you? Like, probably not, because the rest of your diet is so great. And it's something that we do really need to remember, in that it's, you know, the key with anything is balance and feeling like, you know, I've got a handle on this. I'm doing pretty well with the rest of my week. A slice of, I don't know, I can't think of any bloody food. A Mr. Kipling's French Fancy on a Thursday afternoon is not going to tip me over the edge. It's just going to taste nice because Becky from work brought them in. Like, we have to stop kind of like demonizing food and getting really stressed if we have something. But we also need to be realistic that I'm also not telling you to eat cake for 3 meals a day. Like, there's somewhere in the middle, right, where there is a balance that we are able to get everything we need for our body: protein, fibre, fruit and veg, vitamins, minerals, healthy fats, blah, blah, blah. We can have all these things in our diet and still have the occasional treat that keeps us motivated to carry on. Anyway, I feel like I've waffled enough. I'm going to wrap it up. I'm coming in sub 20, which, as we know, can go either way for me. If I get caught up with myself, then it ends up going completely wild. But yeah, come over to my Facebook, Anna Martin Fitness, if you want to join in with our weekly challenges. They're just posted on there. This week we're doing making sure that we're eating protein for breakfast. So you can just come on over, comment on it, say that you're going to join in, and then, you know, I'll check back in with you on Sunday and see how you got on. Just really easy challenges like we've been talking about today. Sustainable things that hopefully do it this week. You carry on doing it next week. And then I introduce another challenge and you carry on doing that. Sometimes it's about nutrition. Sometimes it's about movement. Sometimes it's about self-care, all that kind of stuff. So come and join in. And if you want to check out my Flex program, please feel free to. It's less than £100 for the whole year, and then you get it half price after that as well. So it is a full program to take you from beginner to like intermediate exerciser in terms of resistance training. So I think it's quite cool, if I do say so myself. Well, I would have to, otherwise it wouldn't have been worth me filming it all, would it? Let's be completely honest. Right, I am going to shut up, so I'm sub 20, but I will catch you again next time. Have a fab week.